Hello dear students, today we are going to discuss two most important theory. First theory is vapor pressure of solution of solids into liquid, and the second one is vapor pressure of solution of liquid in liquid. These two theories are considered as Raoult's law. This law is known as Raoult's law for non-volatile solid and volatile liquid. Means solid is non-volatile and liquid is volatile. So solute particles are added into this liquid are stable in the solution throughout the process. The weight of these solute particles does not change in the beaker. Here you can see these two identical beakers. In first beaker you can see one colored particles are there. So this beaker is for pure solvent, and in this beaker you can see two different colored particles, means two components are there. One is solute and the another one is solvent. So this beaker B is solution. These particles are shown as vapor pressure. The vapor pressure of a pure solvent is always greater than the vapor pressure of solution, because all particles in these beakers are identical or same. That's why the vapor pressure is high in a pure solvent category. But in this solution category, when solvent particles undergoes volatilization, at that time the solute particles are attract the solvent molecules towards the solution, so in down direction. So the vapor pressure is in a less amount than pure solvent. Raoult said that any solution vapor pressure of each component is directly proportional to mole fraction. Mole fraction is also known as solubility according to the Henry's law. So our mathematical equation for this Raoult's law for non-volatile, this is very dangerous underlined word, because these two rules are mixed up with this only one word, non-volatile and volatile. Both the rules are different. So you have to remember this word non-volatile solid for this figure. P1 varies as x1. P1 means vapor pressure of any component, x is mole fraction. So the rule is vapor pressure of any solution is directly proportional to the mole fraction of solute. So if we want to remove this proportionality symbol, so P1 is equal to P10 into x1. Now this pressure is considered on left hand side and this x1 is taken as on right hand side. So P1 upon P10 is equal to x1. Okay. Now you have to subtracting both these step from 1. So 1 minus P1 upon P10 is equal to 1 minus x1. Now x1 is a mole fraction for a first component and x2 is a mole fraction for component 2. So we will get P10 minus P1 upon P10 is equal to this 1 minus x1 is known as x2. Why? We know that x1 plus x2 is equal to 1. So this 1 minus x1 value is replaced by x2. We know that the mole fraction of solute and mole fraction of solvent is taken as 1. This value P10 minus P1 upon P10 is equal to, now we know that x2 is equal to mole fraction of component 2, so moles of solute N2 upon N1 plus N2. We know the equation from chapter number 1 in 11th standard. The moles of solute upon total moles of solvent and solute is known as mole fraction of component 2. This is replaced by x2, that N2 upon N1 plus N2. N2 is for solute and N1 is for solvent. We know that solute quantity is in a very less amount in solution and the solvent containing a large amount into the solution. So this N2 is very less than N1. We can easily write this. Solute particles are very less in comparison with solvent particle. So our equation becomes P10 minus P1 upon P10 is equal to N2 upon. This N2 is neglected according to this N2 very less than N1. So we will get N2 by N1. This difference, this vapor pressure P10 is known as initial vapor pressure of a solvent and this P1 is known as vapor pressure of solution. P10 for solvent, P1 is for solution. This N2 moles of solute and 1 moles of solvent. Now this mole is known as weight of solute upon molecular weight of solute. We know the equation that N is equal to W by M, that is weight by molecular weight. So we can generate two equations for N2, that is W2 by M2, and for N1, that is W1 by M1. So our equation becomes P10 minus P1 upon P10 is equal to W2 by M2. Now this N1 is taken as W1 by M1, but that step is written in an inverse direction, M1 upon W1. So this is the equation for Raoult's law, the Raoult's law for non-volatile solid. And this P10 minus P1, you can easily write the difference between the two vapor pressures as delta P. If you want to write delta P over here, you can write easily P10 minus P1 as delta P. Now the graph here, a pressure is there and a mole fraction is there. When we increase the pressure, the solubility will also increase. So we get the graph like straight line, and this point we will get the actual vapor pressure as P10. This value is known as the vapor pressure of a pure solvent. We can get by the intercept in graphical value. So this rule is asked in a 4 marks in your board exam, and this theory is a very important for your board examination. Okay, this is our second most important theory that can be asked in a various way: vapor pressure of liquid solution, and in another way, Raoult's law for volatile solute and volatile solvent. We can also say that both components are in a volatile category, so both are in a liquid state. In this category, when solute and solvent both are in a liquid phase, at that time the variation takes place according to the graph, that is called positive deviation and negative deviation. We will discuss over here in this theory in a later portion. First of all, we identify this solute as component 1 and this solvent as component 2. So for component 1, Raoult's law is same for also volatile plus volatile solution. The vapor pressure of each component is directly proportional to the mole fraction of a solution. The rule is same according to the non-volatile solids. So we can write over here P1 varies as X1. So P1 is equal to P10 into X1. Now for component 2, vapor pressure P2 is directly proportional to mole fraction of X2. So P2 is equal to P20 into X2. Now we have two values. First is for P1 and the another one is for P2. Vapor pressure of component 1 and vapor pressure of component 2. Now you have to describe this rule by Dalton's theory. According to this Dalton's theory, Dalton said that the total vapor pressure is sum of vapor pressure of the every component. Here we have two components, so P1 plus P2 is equal to total pressure. So we can write over here P total is equal to P1 plus P2. We have already value of P1 and P2, so we can put this value P10 into X1 plus P20 into X2. Now in next step, the next step is very important. We have to neglect X1 or X2 in a form of X1 plus X2 is equal to 1. This is our basic rule. So we have to make these two equations. X1 is 1 minus X2 and X2 is 1 minus X1. Now you have to put the value of X1 or X2 both from this right hand side. We are putting the value of X1 in place of this X1. So P10 into 1 minus X2 plus P20 into X2. We have to make identical X2 and X2. Otherwise, if you are putting the value of X2 as 1 minus X1, you will get this X1 and this X1 identical in a next step. you have to show just one case. Over here, this x2 and this x2 are on right hand side in a common, so we get p10 plus p20 minus p10, and our x2 is in a common side. So you will get the final equation of p total, that p10 plus p2 minus p10 into x2, or if you are putting the value of x2 at that time, you will get p20 plus p2 minus p1 into x1. Remember that if there is a pressure 10 and on opposite side always x2, when there is a pressure 20 is over here, then x1 is on opposite side. Okay, so this is the mathematical derivation of Raoult's law for volatile solute and volatile solvent. But the graph of this rule is very important to understand. On x-axis there is a vapor pressure, and on x-axis there is a mole fraction. Now x1 is 0, x1 is equal to 1, x2 is equal to 1, and x2 is equal to 0. This x1 has a concentration of 0 and this x1 is equal to 1, means the concentration of this component is very high. Now we have to decide that what is x1 and what is x2. So we are taking over here x1 is our solute and x2 is our solvent. You already know that when the value of x2 is 1, at that time the vapor pressure of solvent is maximum. So see, x2 have a concentration of 0 on right hand side and x2 has a concentration of 1 on left hand side, means the concentration of x2 is on increasing side. So vapor pressure is high on this left hand axis, and this is known as P20, because this is a x2 solvent's pressure is known as P20. Now x1 is our solute. We know that when x1 is 0 means there is no addition of any solid into this liquid, that's why the vapor pressure is high. But when we add some NaCl or glucose-like particle in solvent category, at that time the vapor pressure of solvent will decrease according to the Raoult's law of non-volatile solid. So this vapor pressure will undergo decrease direction on right hand side because the solute value is 1 on right hand side. So we get pressure 10 on right hand side. So we can say that this x2 is increased in this way and this x1 is increased in this manner. On this axis you will get pressure 1, vapor pressure, and on this axis you will get pressure 2, and after joining of these two dots, that is P10 and P20, we will get total vapor pressure, pressure 1 plus pressure 2. This is the most important graph for Raoult's law. If you inverse this value, you taken x1 as solvent and x2 as solute, then this graph will mirror image of this graph. This upper hand is going on right hand side and this lower end is going on left hand side, and you get this axis in a downward direction. So you can change the value according your preferences, but you have to take this pressure of total pressure 1 and pressure 2. Now I am talking in this volatile section, the positive deviation and negative deviation is also seen in this Raoult's law. So we can say that if we are going to discuss positive deviation, this is our basic graph. This is a mole fraction and this is our vapor pressure. If we get the graph like this dotted line is showing the ideal condition of a solution. Ideal solution and non-ideal solution we already discussed in our previous video, that ideal solution always obey the Raoult's law and non-ideal solutions does not obey the Raoult's law. When this positive deviation takes place, the example is considered as acetone plus this positive deviation means you will get graph on upper direction in all three axes, and when negative deviation, these curves are in underground or under position of this graph. Acetone plus ethanol, and in another case mole fraction and pressure, and you will get graph like this, all graphs in negative deviation. This is known as negative deviation and positive deviation when the vapor pressure of the two solute and solvents are different. So you will get these two type of variations, and the example of negative deviation is acetone plus chloroform. This is for negative deviation, and this is known as positive deviation. So this whole theory is known as Raoult's law for volatile solute and volatile solvent. This is also most important theory which is asked into 4 marks. Till this point to last positive deviation and negative deviation explained with graph and example in detail. Okay, thank you.